few of you ask me if I can do painting with watercolor and especially water clouds. So we did lemons, we did flowers, we did all kinds of fun things, but we're gonna do today easy clouds with watercolor. You want to pull out, let's put glasses on, and we are going to use watercolor, and the colors that I will use is ultramarine. You can use a round brush or a flat brush, still gonna work, doesn't matter, so just get whatever you want. So the first one, what we're gonna do is, and I'm going to get a pencil and I am going to just gently block an area. Now if you're using tape, you can tape that, you're gonna have crisp sides. But if you are not using tape, you can do the same thing as what I'm doing and it's still gonna be okay. I'm gonna activate my paint, or just take a little bit out. So we're gonna use blue, and also I am going to use a little bit of black. So there's my black. Why are we gonna use a little bit of black? That blue, which is the ultramarine, it's way too bright, so we want to kind of pull back a little bit on the blue. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this right here. I'm gonna pull a little bit of the blue and a little bit of the black, and I want to be almost like no color on my brush, like I can experiment on my napkin and see. So I'm adding a lot of water to this, and you see how transparent that is. It's more water than paint. And then what I'm gonna do is I am gonna block out an area of a cloud. So we're gonna pretend our cloud has a fluff to it. And I'm just gonna block out that area, and I'm just going to make a fluffy cloud. And tiny bit of color. We can barely see, but it's wet. So we want to make this wet, and then we want to move fast, because the most important thing is not to give this water a chance to dry or get absorbed by the paint. And after that, I'm going to go back to my color, and I'm going to add a little bit of black into my blue, and I'm going to go from the outside in. I'm not adding now a lot of water, and I'm going to go close to the areas where I blocked in my cloud. And a lot of times, if your paper is not laying very well, I'm gonna go back in and give a little bit of water right at the edge, because the most important thing in this cloud is that blue to start sipping through that wet area. I'm gonna go in here and adding the cloud. We're adding the sky, and my cloud is wet, and it's going to invite some of the paint in. Then we're gonna go around here. We're gonna give a little bit of blue right on the bottom part. Gently push it around. So we are in control. And then another fun thing to do with watercolor and the white paper. So just pushing and giving a little bit of a fluff here to the clouds. But the most important thing is for us to see this edge that it's starting to get created. Now I washed my brush and it's not dripping wet, but what I'm gonna do is I will push out some of the color and I'll create a back clouds and the gardeners, of course. Why not, when we are doing a video for them to start blowing around. So there is one way, and with good paper you're going to be able to do exactly that. And just play a little bit. It is watercolor and you want this there. We're going to add a little bit of blue, almost transparent blue, kind of in the middle of the cloud. And this is our first cloud. Now this one, what this is, it's a lot of water and just dropping paint in certain locations. So I'm gonna get this paper, which is a different, this is actually chamomile paper for printer, and it's not the best to use with watercolor, but since I'm waiting for my normal paper, so I am applying a lot of water to the paper, ton of water. So you do need to get the right paper again to be able to do a good watercolor painting. Your paper is number one. Then it's your paints and brushes. So if you don't have the right paper, you'll be torturing yourself. So I have so much water on this. The next part will be getting enough ink and just dropping it and just pushing it around and creating the clouds. And the paint, it's not gonna go anywhere where there is dry. And I can just push around, make it thinner, flatten it a little bit, use less or more ink, and make the clouds of my dreams. And this is pretty much what we're gonna do, more or less, because every cloud. So I'm gonna wash my brush and I'm gonna start pulling stuff away, cleaning, and just moving things around. So with watercolor, just play around. Now there's another thing that I can do. I can just take some of the water. So I'm stopping the process of the paint moving around. So that's gonna be aside, or let's put it right here. And the next one is the easy one. So what we're gonna do is, again, we're gonna block an area. And a lot of times when you're painting a sky or something, if the sky is the most important thing on your painting, sure, make those clouds stand out, huge, big, gorgeous, grand. But if you are painting something else that it's more important than the sky, then what you want to do is just do a soft sky, not to take away from your painting. So the next part will be me taking some of the ink, starting from the top and moving it down. A little bit more. And moving it down. This is the easy way of doing clouds. And what we're gonna use next is one of those. So I'm going to take one tissue and I'm going to fold it, but I'm going to be kind of loose when I fold it, and the next part will be push down and take away some of the water. And again, if you have good paper, you're gonna go back in, water parts that didn't lift, go back with it clean and create a gentle sky. You also can go in with a brush, clean brush, and make yourself an area that you want to have maybe a little bit more of a clouds right here, and still have control over. Gonna get a little more water here and clean some areas. So this is using not just the paint but a tissue. So there is your sky. So this could be a sky that you can add, let's say, a little trees coming from, and it's a little too wet, so hold it. I'm gonna add a little trees coming down here. And you want to wait for the water to get absorbed a little bit better. So use a little blue with your black, not to be flat. And you can create something that looks like forest. So we're looking straight up at the sky. So we're making our focal point to be the sky, not the trees or anything else. And that's it. So we could, this is pretty much that technique with a little bit different blue, and this is this, and staying a little bit more in control. So this is the sky, and if we decide to add an ocean, let's say to this, what we're gonna do is we want to change the blue a little bit. So if we have a different type of a blue, we're gonna use it. If not, use a little bit of white and tone down the blue. I'm going to put some white here. So I'm starting to enjoy this Van Gogh watercolor, and I did post links to those materials in the video from yesterday. So if you're interested, this is really good paint. It's made in the Netherlands. Taking a little bit of white, and what I'm going to do is I am going to add a little water, just like in our acrylic paintings. The way that we're moving our brush matters. So I'm chopping out a little bit the brush strokes, starting with smaller brush strokes, and a lot of times I'll start much lighter, because it's going to be, especially with watercolor, it's going to be easier for me to build than to take away. Now, yes, I can take away if I have the right paper a lot, but not completely. So I'm going to add a little bit of the same color as the sky almost. And just add brush strokes. And I'm going from left to right and right to left. When I get a little bit closer to me, I have to push a little harder to create that illusion of closeliness, perspective. Let's add a little bit of sand or the beach to land. So I'm going to just go here, and this is gonna go from some paint to almost no paint, going upwards where the water is. And now from here, I'm going to take some of the watercolor and just add that and spill it gently onto the beach. So there is our water. We're going to take a little white, go to our blue, more white. And sometimes I'll start a brush stroke that it's going for wave, going from the center out and then from the center left and right. So you see tiny little bit of a heat wave here, and that's going to represent a movement in the water. So kind of like a wave, but not major, barely. So the close ones will seem that have a little bit of a peak in the center, but I always do left or from center to the right, from center to the left, or from the center to the left or the right, and the rest of them will be more even. So we're creating kind of like a wave looking illusion when we're close. Everything far away, we don't want to add any of that. So to create a little bit of spilling waves right here, I'm gonna take some of the white, and what I found out with this, guys, the white actually stays on top. So I am toning down the sand area. Then I'm gonna go with black and blue, and I'm gonna use the tip of my brush. So I know that my brush has a really good tip, and very gently I am going to add a little bit of a shadow right where my white is touching. And if it's too much, again, we're playing with watercolor. I'm gonna go in and I'll take it, smooth it out a little bit. Just practice. That's everything you can do, is just practice your sky. So I'm going to do the sky one more time right down here. So I'm gonna get a little, almost no color, and I'm just gonna create a sky. Some color, you want some color, but it's going to be almost transparent, and I'm going to move it to the sides. I can add one little guy here, and then we're going to go with blue, and we are going to touch down the borders, and then we can do the rest, fill in. But pretty much the water is going to start creating our clouds. And I can control slightly. And this is what you want to do. Let's go to the bottom. And the most important thing is moving fast, because if this area dries where I made my cloud wet, then it's not going to create this beautiful effect of the water getting into the space, or the paint getting into the space of the water. So I can just clean a little bit and still can control it and fluff it out and clean. So this is pretty much how we do clouds, and I don't want to tell you, but that was super fast. I would rather do this than using the napkin, using a napkin and taking away. Now it's super easy. Experiment. Maybe you're gonna do much better than I am doing right now. But there, we're gonna try it one more time with the napkin. So I feel like I like to use the brush more than using the napkins, but it still works. It's still going to give you a very soft sky. So between a cloud and a soft sky. So, and then the water, super easy, simple. And if you see how much white is here, it's totally fine to leave it like that, or just work a little bit extra and make it happen. So this is it.